I'm sick. Not definitively. Let's not say sick. I am not well. And there's something. It's not conclusive or anything. That sounds too conclusive. I think I feel I'm not well. Of course, it could be. I lost a book the other day. It was I was reading it, waiting for the bus. I've read it I don't know how many times, just to see it, to hold it, had become comforting to me. I used to give books as gifts all the time, only books, because, and this was important, I felt people didn't read enough. I always thought about personalizing them with some thoughtful, sweet, succinct message behind the front cover. Of course, there was always a part of me that considered this a defacement of the sacred text. Not the sacred text, but I find myself perusing a used bookstore, and I come across one of these thoughtful, sweet, succinct defacements. Whenever this happens, I feel, well, I feel annoyed at the thought of being reminded that this was someone else's personal thing every time I open the book. But then I read it, and I feel so sad. Usually this means either the sentiment or the book, or maybe even the gift giver was no longer appreciated, or of course there are people I don't like being reminded of. Sometimes these people will, you'll see them or even talk to them, and I'm always hopeful that we'll regain some semblance of course, all you end up feeling is this tension where you're each trying to figure out what was lost, and if we could only rebuild that. It's like this thing that you couldn't do, and you still can't do because no one's changed. Isn't that it? It's not something's lost, it's that you got to know each other too well. I don't want that anymore, and it's easier to just not know them at all. You're nice, you exchange pleasantries, but it's all just to cover up how they can only remind you of everything that was and still is. I had this girlfriend once, and she was so nice and beautiful and intelligent, and I felt like I loved her. I mean, that's what I told her, and I would lie to her. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to be good. But I wrote about her once. I based a character on her. Of course, I changed a few things, used parts of other people, but I think she could, see. I don't know if she ever read it. I don't know how many people read these days, but what if for you the good days were when you think, I'm gonna get better, and the bad days were when you think, I'm just no good and there's no changing it. There's a very subtle distinction there. I mean, it all depends on how you feel that day about whether people can truly change. I think about this and how we're all young and innocent once, and how life corrupts us in different degrees depending then maybe we've changed, but certainly not for the better. But we're supposed to get wiser with age, and we do. But say I tell you to picture something perfect, something divine, and you tell me if an innocent, devoid of any pretense, isn't closer to that conception than someone who has accumulated all the limited knowledge possible within one of our lifetimes. Because once you know something, you also know that there are things that you don't know, which you can never know. Things that you don't have, which you can never have. We all know we're going to die, but we'll never know what death is like. I mean, we can guess, we can imagine, we can approximate, but in the end, there's really only one way to truly know what it's like. And once that happens,